Some murders happen in seconds, others take months, even years. This is not a story about rage. This is a story about planning, about debt, about desperation, and about a woman who prosecutors say turned her marriage into a business decision. This is the case of Darlene Elizabeth MacDonald. From the outside, the MacDonald marriage looked perfectly ordinary. Their home sat quietly on a tree-lined street in suburban Ontario, blending in with the rows of similar houses. Neighbours would see them coming and going, exchanging polite waves, never suspecting anything was amiss. To the world, they were just another couple, living a quiet life behind closed doors. There were no screaming matches echoing down the street, no late-night police visits, no shattered windows or flashing lights. The MacDonalds kept their troubles hidden, their home as peaceful and unremarkable as any other on the block. To anyone looking in, there were no obvious signs of violence or distress. They shared quiet mornings over coffee, paid their bills, and tried to build a future together. It was the kind of life many people dream of, simple, stable, and safe. But behind those closed doors, a different story was unfolding. Something far more insidious than shouting or slammed doors was taking root. Debt, silent, creeping, and relentless, began to grow. The bills started to pile up, each envelope a reminder of mounting pressure. Credit card statements, overdue notices, and final warnings became a regular part of their lives. The weight of financial strain pressed down on them, tightening its grip with every passing month. Arguments began to shift, no longer about small annoyances or daily frustrations, but about numbers, about what they could afford and what they couldn't. When money becomes scarce, trust and affection are often the first casualties. The warmth between them faded, replaced by tension and blame. According to prosecutors, it was during this time that Darlene MacDonald's perspective began to change. She no longer saw her husband as a partner in their struggles, but as the source of them, a problem to be solved, rather than a person to be loved. Investigators later revealed that the couple's financial situation was deteriorating fast. Debt wasn't temporary, it was suffocating. And in cases like this, there are only three paths: struggle together, walk away, or eliminate the obstacle entirely. Prosecutors say Darlene chose the third, but not with her own hands. Life insurance is meant to protect families. It's a safety net, a promise that if the unthinkable happens, loved ones will be cared for. In quiet neighborhoods like this one, it's a silent reassurance, tucked away in drawers, rarely thought about, but always there, just in case. For many, it's a symbol of responsibility, a way to ensure that no matter what, their family's future is secure. But in court, it became clear that insurance policies played a critical role in this case. The legal teams pored over every detail, examining the fine print, the signatures, the dates. Suddenly, what was meant to be a shield for the family became a focal point for suspicion and motive. These were policies that would pay out significant sums after death, money that could change lives overnight. The death benefit, once a distant thought, now loomed large over every testimony and piece of evidence. Policies that would erase debt, wipe the slate clean, and offer a chance to reset finances. For a family struggling with bills and obligations, the promise of a financial fresh start can be both a comfort and a temptation. And for some, it can feel like opening the door to a new life, one where the weight of unpaid bills and overdue notices is suddenly lifted, replaced by hope and possibility. But money doesn't pull the trigger. It doesn't make decisions or take action. Yet it can quietly influence, planting seeds of possibility in desperate minds. In the shadows, Money can make murder feel logical. It can turn tragedy into opportunity and grief into calculation. The line between protection and motive blurs, and what was once a loving gesture becomes a potential weapon. And according to the prosecution, Darlene MacDonald knew exactly what her husband's death would be worth. They argued she understood the numbers, the policies, and the payout. In their eyes, she wasn't just a grieving widow. She was someone who saw the value in loss and may have been willing to claim it, no matter the cost. This was not a crime of impulse. This was a crime of delegation. Instead of acting directly, Darlene allegedly manipulated others, testing loyalty, floating ideas, framing murder as a solution to a shared problem. Small conversations at first, hypotheticals, suggestions disguised as frustration, until those conversations crossed a line. The most dangerous killers don't raise their voices, they plant ideas. When Darlene's husband was killed, suspicion didn't immediately fall on her. And that's what makes conspiratorial murder so effective. No blood on her hands, no weapon, no eyewitnesses placing her at the scene. Just grief, or at least the appearance of it. But police know something important. Murders motivated by money always leave evidence, not in the body, but on paper. Investigators began tracing financial records, insurance policies, phone calls, conversations before and after the death. What they found was not chaos, it was structure. Timelines that suggested preparation, behavior that didn't match genuine shock or grief, and witnesses who began to crack under pressure. You can distance yourself from a crime, but you can't distance yourself from intent. As police applied pressure, the conspiracy collapsed. Those who had been manipulated began to talk. Details emerged that only someone involved could know. Statements changed, stories shifted, and the wall between Darlene MacDonald and the murder began to crumble. What had once looked like tragedy now looked like orchestration. In court, prosecutors laid out their case. This was murder for profit. They showed, financial desperation, insurance incentives, prior discussions about eliminating the husband, her role in directing others. They argued that while Darlene didn't commit the physical act, she committed the crime. The law does not care who pulls the trigger. It cares who decided someone should die. The jury saw calculation, they saw motive, and they saw intent. Darlene Elizabeth MacDonald was convicted for arranging the murder of her husband, not as a victim of circumstance, but as the architect of the crime. The money that was meant to save her life became the evidence that destroyed it. What once seemed like a lifeline, a promise of security and hope, was now a trail of paperwork, signatures, and numbers that told a very different story. Investigators pored over every detail, piecing together the motives hidden in plain sight, while the community watched in disbelief as the truth unraveled. The debt she tried to escape followed her into a prison cell. The walls that now surrounded her were not just made of concrete and steel, but of regret, shame, and the weight of choices that could never be undone. Every day she replayed the decisions that led her here, haunted by the faces of those she left behind. And the freedom she believed she could buy cost her everything. Some killers use knives, some use guns. But in this case, the weapon was far more subtle. Hidden in contracts, cloaked in legal language, and masked by the illusion of legitimacy. The courtroom echoed with silence as the verdict was read. the weight of her actions settling over everyone present. And some use contracts, policies, and persuasion. The tools of this crime were not forged in anger, but in calculation. Each signature, each policy was a step deeper into a web of deceit that would ultimately unravel her life. Because when murder is committed for money, it's never emotional. It's transactional, cold, methodical, and devastating. In the end, the price of greed was paid not just in dollars, but in lives shattered, trust broken, and a future lost forever. Subscribe for stories where the darkest crimes don't begin with violence. They begin with a calculation.